Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I'll be reading a multi-character exclusive by me. So let's get into it. Cyno. It wasn't easy for Cyno to get mad, but somehow this ended up happening. Well, you just happened to disobey one of his orders. He told you not to try to go into any of the temples, since you did not have any rights to go there. Only he could get you there. And then, even then, it would require permission from the academia. So he told you to wait and you were too curious and got the best of yourself. And now, you were here. He was embarrassed because you were the closest one to him. You were the one who was supposed to be following his orders. And yet, everyone knew that you did not take him seriously now. So he started yelling at you, telling you that you disappointed him. And that hurt you more than anything else. He knew you were in the wrong, so he started crying, apologizing. But Santa still refused to talk to you, leaving you alone as you cried. Though you really wanted to make it up for him. So after a few days, you went over to his house with a box of cookies. And it turns out he was actually making you cake to apologize too. So it was pretty easy to make things up from there. Childe's so soft for you, and he would never yell unless something really bad happened or he got extremely worried. In this case, it was out of worry. Yes, he was extremely worried about you. You were not prepared for this weather, and he told you he was going to come to you anyway. But instead, since you were too impatient and you missed him, you came to Tighnari. So he was kind of surprised to see you there, and he started yelling when he saw how blue your lips were. Why didn't you wait for me? I was coming anyway. You could have just waited, you know? He yelled, but then, when he saw you froze up, he just sighed softly before wrapping you into his arms and kissing your forehead. It's fine. I'm sorry I yelled. I was just worried. You melted into the warm hug and tell him that you understand and that you're not really upset with him at all, which is all true. Albedo. Albedo yells at you, but for a good reason. You kind of fought with Clay because she tore up your dress, and he was angry at you for treating her this way. She was a cute child, and he knows she's a little bit disastrous, but he thought you would understand. But for you not to, that was surprising for him, and kind of hurtful because you thought of her as a little sister. So that's why the two of you started yelling back and forth at one another, until you told him that you would leave. He didn't want to partake in this anymore. This was a silly fight, and if he was willing to fight on Clay's behalf, then you were going to leave since he didn't believe in you so much. In the end, he just sighed, and told you it was for the best that two of you take a break for real. Honestly, it hurt you a lot, but you kind of decided that it was probably also a good decision, since you were not getting along so well. And if you wanted to keep this relationship in the long term, then a short break would be necessary until you would settle things and be able to talk it out calmly. Venti. Venti's such a sweetheart, and it's really hard to actually get on his nerves. Like, you'd have to be playing Olympics here just to do that. But then again, when Venti was with you, a lot of his personal feelings were involved, which he usually did not take into consideration when he was with others. He tried to keep a distance, all while being kind, which was a difficult balance that he sought to achieve and did. But with you, it was a lot more personal. And that's why his feelings got really hurt when I told him the truth about who you were. It hurt because he thought you would tell him earlier, and he started fighting with you. over why you wouldn't tell him, and you told him that you wouldn't understand. But the thing that hurt most was that he told you everything about himself. Everything. And you thought you had trusted him then. He knows trust is earned, not asked for or requested. It was a pity fight, to be honest. And you felt kind of bad after. Maybe it was all because he was a little tipsy, but you do help him in the morning, and you talk about it thoroughly, while he truly, sincerely apologizes to you. Scaramouche. Scaramouche is already anxious about a lot of things, so he doesn't get why you just did that in front of the rest of the Harbingers. He knows you have a teasing personality, especially with how nervous you can get about this. But for you to just be so intimate in front of them, it was not required. Nor was it a good thing, in his own opinion. He honestly thought you should have asked. He refused to embarrass you in front of them, but when they went home, he started yelling at you about not respecting him or his own boundaries, and you told him there was no way you would know without trying. And then he got mad, and of course, hurtful words went back and forth. Until he decided that it was enough, and that he wouldn't have any of it anymore. He left, storming off, and then you knew that it was really a big mess. A big argument, bigger than what you would have imagined. And you kind of waited on it for a week before trying to fix it and connect with him again. Tighnari. Tighnari yelled at you because you wanted to do the forest. He knows that you probably are too curious, but you really thought that you would be able to go there without his help? Or the forest rangers? That was idiotic at best. And really, really stupid at worst. Honestly, I didn't know the difference. But one of them was worse than the other. And he really thought you were just ignoring his word at this point. He just thought that you didn't trust him or believe him. And, more importantly, he was worried sick about you. So that's why he started dealing in the first place. It was out of a place of concern, but it ended up hurting you instead. And now you're there, crying in his arms, as he tried to comfort you, apologizing and telling you that he didn't mean to yell so much, and that he was just so worried about your well-being. Thankfully, you do understand, and apologize for causing this mess. To which he responds to you by comforting you and giving you a kiss on the forehead, telling you that the most important thing is that you came out okay.